Well, hello, and Happy New Year. It's just about New Year's Eve here in Wales, and I'm here and looking at the TV, content with highlights of the year just gone by, 2024 politically. Obviously, I'm talking politically here as somebody who's fascinated with politics, particularly Welsh politics, and I'm looking forward to the very interesting year that is ahead in 2025. So, first of all, looking at 2024, uh, big highlights, of course. You have to say internationally, Donald Trump's fantastic win in August with the November with the American elections. Fantastic that he's back in power, and he will be a great advocate for the centre right of politics, common sense, helping us to drive the woke agenda throughout the world. The globalist economies, the globalist powers will have to bow to Donald. Hopefully, he will be good for us, and we can do a trade deal with him. Sadly, we've got to have Neil Keir Starmer and David Lammy negotiating with him, which is not particularly exciting. And who knows where that'll end. Anyway, Donald has been the one highlight. The other highlight, of course, is the massive emergence of Reform UK as a big force in politics in the UK and in Wales, of course. And remarkable, really, from what was it, 40,000 members last year. They're now on 155,000 members. More importantly, in the polls, they're now sharing very much second place, exceeding the Conservatives as second place. They've exceeded their memberships, and they're chasing Labour down. They're not very far away from Labour, so there's a real hope that the things have changed this year. On the UK front, of course, the big election in July. Well, I was UKIP up until May this year, so I joined Reform, as you know, in about May, and when the elections came, I was quite happy to support Reform and vote for them, and it was great to see Nigel in power. When he came back, it was most exciting. And let's be fair, Reform are our best hope. We all know this. You'd be stupid not to think that when we're on 20, at least 23% of the vote in the UK, possibly 25% in Wales. So, fantastic opportunity as we go into the new year. The Labour Party in the UK, of course, have had a disastrous start. Couldn't believe how bad they've been. They've really exceeded us. We had poor expectations. They've exceeded them. The budget was dreadful. They've hammered the industry, hammers us with tax, hammered the pensioners, hammered the farmers. We all know what's happened, and it's quite startling to see that they've come down in the opinion polls so drastically. I don't think they're going to come back easily. And of course, the Conservative parties, with all their shenanigans, are still seen as the traitors by people like myself who let us down badly. We trusted them to get Brexit done, and they didn't, and we trusted them to stop immigration, they didn't. So the Conservatives are also languishing in the UK, and in Wales is a similar picture where Labour are not popular. Lots of voting in July in Labour will surprise people. Some brilliant results for Reform UK, such as in Llanelli area where they had 28%. In the Aberafan and Maesteg area, they had 24%. Quite a few places over 20%, which means that they have a fantastic chance. So let's look at Welsh politics. Well, gladly we got rid of the awful Mr. Mark Drakeford, that left-wing idiot. Nobody really, well, some people liked him obviously, but he was never my cup of tea. And then we had the dreadful Vaughan Geffin takeover, who basically was a crook, should never have been in power, and he was all there for himself, proved himself to be totally inadequate. So now we've got the dangerously left-wing Eluned Morgan in charge in Wales. But Wales Labour Party are worried. They must be worried because they know that 2026 could be their last year after 25 years in power in Wales, 100 years in the UK, 100 years in Wales actually, if you count the general elections. So they are worried, and the 2026 elections, that's only what we told January, March, and May, so it's 17 months away. But preparation has to start now, really. It has to start in the next couple of months as we build up. We need to get candidates in place really by May to give them a full year to to uh, to campaign against Labour. And let's be fair, the chances in 2026 are massive. The opportunities. Labour may have shot themselves in the foot. They've decided to have an extra 36 Senate members. Absolutely ridiculous waste of money. £20 million is costing every year. It'll cost us another 36 people. Really, we don't need. It's really, it's crazy that we've got nearly as many. We'll have nearly as many members as a big country like Austria or something. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, that's where we are. So, was it's now May 2026. There is an important message for all people who are on the right of centre politics in the UK, but particularly in Wales, because we have been fractured over the years. I used to be UKIP, and they were great. They did marvellous things. And still got many friends there, and a lot of UKIP people have now come over to Reform. They came to Brexit Party many years ago. UKIP have still going, and I wish them the best. Nick Tenconi is a very very powerful speaker. They seem to be going down the road of perhaps inviting people like Tommy Robinson and Katie Hopkins to be MPs to join the party. That's quite they're entitled to do that. Now, much as Tommy Robinson, who should never ever be languishing in prison, it's an absolute joke. Much as he's a brave soldier, he's an inspiration to many of us. I like the guy. I don't think he's racist. I don't think he's anything like what he used to be. Reform have had to bat clever with Tommy Robinson and with Kate Hopkins to a certain degree, and some other characters. And I trust Nigel. I'd like to have a broad coalition of everyone. And we've got people like Paul Thorpe on Unite the Kingdom, and his friends Danny and Richard Inman, constantly now chipping away at Nigel, trying to sort of. I don't think it's helpful, and I can see their points that they don't think Reform are strong enough. They don't trust Nigel. They don't trust Richard Tice. But I don't know whether they're going to help. We've got 2 years in Wales to sort out a right of not far right. Obviously, the far right that's another overused phrase of 2024. We're not far right. I'm not far right. I'm sure people who support Welsh centre-right politics, UKIP's not far right, really. It's not. And as we've said before, there are very few far-right people. There are some nutters around who are not welcome in Reform. They're not welcome in UKIP. So that really is a red herring. But we need to get together. We need to pull together. And people who are trying now to sort of make Reform look perhaps too soft, not strong enough to question. Obviously, you have to question any political party. I've questioned Reform many a time. That's why it took me so long before I joined them. And I do still question the democratic process of electing people. I don't want the same old cronies, the same old faces. I don't want bad people in charge of Reform. I want the best. And I want everyone to be given a chance. So Reform has a lot to do still. But what a fantastic year they've had. And to be in now 23%. The way the first past the post system works goes against smaller parties. But in Wales, of course, we have proportional representation. So it's pretty clear that Reform are going to get at least 12 candidates, 2 in each what they call super constituency. So the constituency for the general elections have been twinned. So we've got in this area we've got Bridgend, both cores being twinned with Cardiff Vale, Aberafon, Maesteg has been twinned with Rhondda and Ogmore, etc. On and on. Swansea East has been, and Neath has been twinned with Brecon and Radnor, a massive constituency, a strange one really. So there are branches being set up, which is great, and I've already been to several meetings in Bridgend, in Aberafon, and I want to get around and see everybody. I want to try and be if I can, help use my experience in South Wales for everyone. But obviously, I live in Bridgend, so that will be my home. I'll get more information, but I am also keen to help in Aberarthur, my stay, which is just up the roads, because they've got less of their experienced heads there. So, and let's see what happens. And what is most important is the membership goes up and up and up, and people keep on fighting the fight. And there's such massive interest, and you cannot ignore the way the membership is flying and the coverage that Farage is getting internationally. And in Wales, we just need that one push now for the next. It's only 17 months, a year less than a year and a half. We can actually make Wales a big Reform UK area. Now, I know there's some people who are going to go off Reform. There's talk of some of the Tommy Robinson fans neglecting, ditching Reform. A lot of the people who are on the marches, who are good people, there's very few far right idiots. They are going off Reform and they want to try and it's going to happen, of course. But if we split the right vote, it's bad enough that we've got to split it with the Conservatives. So there are going to be people, diehard Conservatives. And the very, very last thing we want, there's two things we do not want. One is a Labour and Liberal and possibly SNP governments in Westminster in 2029. And we just cannot afford to have a Labour and Plaid government in 2026 in Wales. It's time to kick those buggers out. They've done nothing for Wales. They're left-wing socialists, bringing in more rules, more woke rubbish again this week. We know what they're trying to do. We know they've tried to gerrymander the system by cutting down the democracy, changing the voting system. As it happens, it could help you Reform on this occasion, but in general, it's going to be a long-term help to Labour. Lots of things that Labour have done. You know what their record is on the NHS, what their record is in schools, in education, in the economy. So we won't go on about that. So what I would say for the new year, 2025, great year ahead, is that we need to unite the right. We keep saying we need to reunite UKIP people, like all friends of mine. There are going to be some who stay in UKIP, vote UKIP. They won't have a lot of options, to be honest. When it comes to the elections, May 2026, the Senate elections, you'll have one option, and you're not voting for people this time, which is ridiculous. But they've changed the voting system, so you will be looking at your ballot paper. It'll have Labour, Conservative, Liberal, Democrats, Reform. It'll have Plaid Cymru. It'll have Communist Party, whatever, all the smaller parties. It will have independents. Each one then will show a list of the 6 people they have chosen in their list of candidates. So the names will be there, small writing, because there's so bloody many. And obviously the first person on the list is most likely. So it is important that Reform gets selection right, that is fair and equitable. I've campaigned now strongly. I've messaged the regional operators to tell her that I want to see transparent, robust, sensible, fair choices. I don't want friends of friends, and I don't want cronyism. We've seen that in Conservative Party and Labour particularly, and we did see it in UKIP, and we didn't get the best candidates. It's very important we get top quality candidates. There will be 12 at least in the Senate, could be 20, could be 30. So a great year ahead, and I will be working hard for Reform UK. If things don't work out with Reform, then we'll see where we go then after 26. But they are without doubt the only show in town. They're our best hope. It would be absolutely ridiculous not to support Reform and Nigel. Nigel likes himself and he likes being in power. Some people don't like that, but he is by far the most skilled, brilliant politician, MP that we have in this country, and he is popular. Look, believe me, he is popular, and he's the one person who can get the Welsh Reform Party into power, or at least be the major opposition and have control of things. And he's certainly the best choice for the next Prime Minister in the UK. So good luck to everyone. Happy New Year. Let's have a good year where Reform do well and sensible people come together and we take this country forward. Thank you.